It was love at first sight, you just don't understand. She emerged from the bushes and was like, wow.
Well, I didn't even do anything extraordinary for her to refuse.
Actually, you told me not to get married.
Well, I suggested she shouldn't.
How did you meet?
We met on March 8th, by the way, at a party. Vika emerged from the bushes. She looked exactly the same, just like now, like a homeless. It was love at first sight, you just don't understand. She came out of the bushes and was like, wow. Well, yes, there were such sparks in her eyes. We met in a typical way on social networks. Andre messaged me. I decided to respond. Then, as we talked, I realized that I really enjoyed communicating with him.
I was just in my hometown thousands of kilometers away, so it was kind of romantic, yes.
It turned out that on the second day of our acquaintance, Andre sent me a video message inviting me for a date, but in a month. I went to a friend's new apartment, we went for a walk, and there were guys playing football on the court. Well, our girls group decided, so to speak, to join them, and that's how we met. At that time, we were both 15 years old. So, that's how everything started between us. We began to hang out, to communicate. Oh, that period was short, probably 2 months, then we foolishly quarreled. This youthful maximalism, when you have pride, you think you are always right. 2 years passed since we broke up, but during all these 2 years, he still appeared in my life and spoiled all my relationships.
I tried.
Did you know she was in a relationship?
Originally, I was planning to get married. I was pregnant, and the boy proposed to me.
Well, I didn't do anything extraordinary for her to refuse.
Actually, you told me not to get married.
Well, I suggested she shouldn't.
I refused, the boy left, we broke up, and he disappeared, maintaining the relationships he didn't want to break. So, roughly speaking, I was left alone and pregnant. A few months passed, and then we reconciled with this boy. So, we got in touch, called each other. He learned that I didn't end up with Valentine, and he says, well, let's keep our relationship. We reconciled. So, we registered our marriage. I was 8 months pregnant then. And the most interesting thing, when we got married, he also learned about it, but he didn't try to dissuade me then. He just didn't have time. And when my husband and I argued, he still came. She wasn't my girlfriend, she wasn't. Sex doesn't count. Anyway, this girl came up to me and said that Vika was in a relationship, and I immediately backed off for like 2 minutes until I drank more. I was in a relationship.
But I didn't know about it for some reason.
Found out later, after...
Yes. Since I found out about it a month later, it was, of course, a shock for me. But then I wrote, so to speak, Maria, explain the situation.
And what did I say?
That those relationships supposedly have no future, that it's all over. You can put a cross on it, and you just have to wait a little bit.
But you waited. Well, as I would say, you know, darling, let's communicate, be friends. I have another person on the side. Don't pay attention. I didn't cheat on my husband. Well, from a certain point of view, maybe I did. But it was more from a moral standpoint. I never physically cheated on him. But still, my husband and I ended up divorcing.
How long it took from the beginning of the new relationship to the breakup with exes, ex-girlfriends?
Damn. On the 15th of March, she wrote to me, Sasha, I have a girlfriend, her name is Yana, the one from the club. And on the 20th, we slept together, so not much time passed. 5 days. I'm a pro, after all. At least a month and a half, maybe even more. Because, well, it's one thing to say we're breaking up, and then still be in touch with the previous guy. Yeah.
No. But remember that time when I came over, and we had planned to meet, and you suddenly canceled it? Remember that?
No, what meeting?
When I came from another city, remember, we had planned...
Yes, that's when I realized that I was doing something wrong because the guy was asking me out on a date.
And that's when I started thinking that I was doing something wrong and I should somehow...
And I said, let's not go on a date. But I then slept with the idea. I thought, no, of course.
Did you feel you were doing something wrong?
My conscience didn't bother me.
Not at all.
No.
Gosh, you're so brazen.
The pregnancy didn't bother me. We even thought about the baby's name before she got married. We sat on a swing together and came up with a name.
Yes, at that moment, while my fiancé was suffering at home, I was sitting with him on a bench, and we were coming up with names for our child. Of course, I also had that feeling for the first 20 minutes until I drank more. First of all, because I hadn't gotten over my previous relationship, which lasted a year. Because Yana took me in like some beaten kitten. So you had guilt, right? That she pissed you off, and then you went to me. Yes, because I started corresponding with Alexandra at the same time. But no one judged me, I didn't face that. Me neither, I think I judged myself more. Like, time has passed and I started to worry about it, thinking that I'm a bad person. I hadn't finished things there, and I was starting here. And this conscience was gnawing at me, gnawing.
Did your conscience bother you?
Back then, it bothered me a little. No, I didn't feel like I was doing something wrong. Well, because I figured that if I was ready to give up getting married to this person for another person, then I didn't love him enough to build a family with him, and decided that, well, he's not the one for me.
How did you break up with your ex?
Naturally, I also minimized communication with Yana as much as possible because she wanted to be friends. Friends. That was probably the last attempt. Usually a person shouts about friendship when they want to hold on. But then the person said, "You are needed by my heart." No, she didn't forgive. No, I don't think so. I just wrote very harshly that it's over. He also behaved badly. It was more like a boomerang coming back to him. It could have been harsher. He wrote to me that, "I will find someone, I will write, I will tell, I will show him what you are really like."
And he wrote,
I knew he was just trying to intimidate, but it would have been very ugly even for him to do so. There was a situation, he said, "Sveta, I will forgive you everything. Please, just stop communicating with him." I remember, I waited all evening, he brought me tea, he pitied me. He so wanted to preserve everything, but I just didn't want to. I can't say I asked for forgiveness because I acted rightly. I came, told the truth, I didn't cheat, right. But he didn't fight much either. He just got up and left. Then he told everyone that I was so bad. How could I do this? But he himself didn't take any actions to save the family. He doesn't care about the child. We don't communicate at all.
I treat him like a son, that's all.
He calls him Dad. We recently went to a cafe and he stepped away to make an order and said, "Probably Dad's son." Says, "He looks so much like Dad." Says, "Well, you look like your mom too, but more like Dad."
Can you imagine someone taking your partner away?
I can't imagine someone taking you away now. Well, in theory, it's possible, of course. And of course, it's very scary to me. Well, it's a matter like that. It's the heart, so it's always scary. If I saw that Andre was open to communication, I would say, go ahead and communicate. For example, if there was a certain crisis, and I saw that Andre was drawn to this girl, I wouldn't tie his hands. And of course, I wouldn't set the table or come in a dress. Look, what a good wife you have, right? Don't look at other women. No.
I think if a person wants to leave, they will leave. And you can't hold them back. Not sure she will be stolen.
That I will leave, you're not sure?
No, that you won't be stolen and that you won't leave.
So you don't believe that someone else might need me?
I need.
What is your attitude towards communicating with exes?
If Yana writes to Vika, what can I do about it? She writes, so she writes. It's not about Yana, not about my reaction, but about Vika herself, how Vika reacts to it. Or if she plans to go drinking with her, or go to some common parties. That's a different question. If she just writes, then there's nothing to worry about. But she's blocked in my social media. Thanks to you.
And did you correspond after that?
You knew?
No. I don't remember that, yeah.
Well, anyway, we corresponded.
How long ago?
Well, a couple of times, once every 3 months.
Oh, he liked your posts or something, as far as I remember.
Yes, mutual likes, it's sacred.
And you're still following him, right? I remember.
You know what? You were also subscribed to all your exes until a certain point. So there's that.
Well, it wasn't hard for me to unsubscribe.
How was it not hard? I took your phone and unsubscribed you from all your exes.
Why are these relationships better than the previous one?
I don't know. I look at him and think, what's so special about you? Nothing. No, you're a good-looking guy, but I don't know what exactly attracted me. He always understands me with half a word, and sometimes he appeared at the moments when he was needed. When I lie down tired after work, it's scary. Dark circles under my eyes. I think, God, I want to sleep. And then I remember the taste of coffee. I say, "Andre, where's your coffee?" And he brings me coffee. So pleased. Here, I added 2 teaspoons of sugar so you really enjoy it. Such little things were pleasant, yes. Right now, in the current relationship, but there was nothing like that in previous one. Andre might say, "Let me rub your back. Let me lull you."
Though you occasionally you're riding on my neck and kind of overdo it.
Who said your relationship is cooler than the previous one? In these relationships, I feel the most comfortable, probably. Like images, like the early days of a relationship. People were so, legs were bare. Everything so clean-shaven. Half a year into the relationship, everything gets overgrown. From the very beginning, everything was overgrown, you understand? Everything was very simple. I read somewhere that marriage, well, we're not married, but still, marriage is a long conversation. That stuck in my head. And when I'm comfortable talking to someone, regardless of the fact that you spend a lot of time together, it's a super big green flag for me. Probably that. Why are you grinning? That's usually the case.